This morning, the state of disunion over the president's upcoming State of the Union address, now less than 2 weeks away. And now this, a power play from Democrat Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, flexing her muscles in a move that appears designed to deprive the president of a high-profile platform to attack Democrats and to sell his border wall. This morning, the showdown over the State of the Union now heating up.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi urging the president to postpone his annual address or deliver it in writing. In this new letter, citing security concerns, noting that due to the shutdown, the Department of Homeland Security and Secret Service have been hamstrung by furloughs.
You can make it from the Oval Office if you want.
Pelosi's deputy more definitive.
So the State of the Union is off.
The State of the Union is off.
Steny Hoyer's aides later insisting he misspoke. House Republicans calling it a political stunt.
Speaker Pelosi should act like a speaker and have the president and keep her word like she invited him.
She says it's a security issue.
It is not a security issue. That's politics, and you know it.
The White House not responding to Pelosi's request. The president's lawyer, however, is speaking out, changing his argument about the Russia investigation.
I never said there was no collusion between the campaign or between people in the campaign.
Yes,
I have no idea if I have not. I said the President of the United States.
Rudy Giuliani directly contradicting his own past position and the president's position on collusion with the Russians during the 2016 presidential campaign.
There's been no collusion whatsoever. There was no collusion whatsoever. There never has been. The last thing I want is help from Russia. There's been no collusion. There's been no obstruction. It's all a made-up fantasy. It's a witch hunt.
Giuliani in that heated exchange wasn't finished.
There is not a single bit of evidence the President of the United States committed the only crime you could commit here, conspired with the Russians to hack the DNC.
The president has long targeted special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling, often referring to it as a witch hunt and a hoax. Mueller's investigation has led to the indictments of more than 30 people, including 4 members of Mr. Trump's campaign, among them his former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. Giuliani apparently trying to move the goalposts in that interview. To be clear, as a fact check, there are multiple examples of the president and his lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, arguing that the Trump campaign did nothing wrong, that there was no collusion with the Russians whatsoever.